Avatar: The Last Airbender has been a beloved show of mine since childhood, and the older I get, the better the show seems to become. It's rife with complex themes and intricate storytelling, not to mention a host of amazing characters who each have their own important stories to tell. For a cartoon, it doesn't bring itself down to the lowest common denominator and just cater to young audiences. Rather, the show's substance lies within the complicated issues it explores. The show deals with, among many themes, racism, sexism, family, war, and equality, and explores them all at varying levels, psychologically, sociologically, and socioeconomically. But I believe the strength of the show lies within how it handles its themes holistically. The war story within Avatar is not simply Fire Nation versus the rest of the world. It's about how war impacts the functional structures within society. We see through the eyes of citizens, refugees, soldiers, and many marginalized groups on how the war has impacted them all differently. Whole episodes are shown through the eyes of the antagonists as much as the protagonists. We have episodes exploring characters from just their singular experience. We even have storylines about how war has not only divided the world at a macro level, but how it has also impacted the views and values of societies at the micro level. The episode Jet is about a group of outcast children who have had their lives destroyed by the Fire Nation and thus view it as their mission to defeat the Fire Nation no matter how morally unjust their actions. Avatar Day is about a group of Earth Kingdom citizens who see the Avatar as an enemy, regardless of the war. While City of Walls and Secrets tells the story of Ba Sing Se, a highly isolated, propaganda-controlled city that refuses to acknowledge the war's existence for the sake of cultural heritage. It's how the series explores perspective, the different ways characters look at the same issues, at history, at other people, that makes Avatar's writing so compelling. Every character is a lens that lets us look at the world a little bit differently. It's through these different lenses that we develop a holistic understanding of said world. Each character is given so much detail and consistency when it comes to their outlook and attitudes. Toph and Zuko, for instance, are two characters who fundamentally deal with the same issues. The relationships they have with their parents, how they deal with disability, and their struggles to find identity. But it's the lens in which they view and handle these issues that differ. It's their unique perspectives on these issues that create two distinct, deep, and unique supporting characters. Two characters whose messages work the best together. And that's what I want to talk about today. Let's examine why together, Toph and Zuko are so great as supporting characters. Hey everyone, just quickly before I proceed any further, don't forget to click that subscribe button and that notification bell. I also have a Patreon with some extra content if you want to check that out. These video essays do take quite a bit of effort to make, and this isn't my full-time job as much as I'd like it to be, so any support is really appreciated. Thank you, and on to the video. When speaking to all the characters in Avatar, you wouldn't expect Toph and Zuko to be in the same conversation very often. However, these two characters are more connected than you think. They are fundamental to each other and their messages they convey, although they rarely interact. Firstly, no other characters are affected by a negative dynamic with their parents more than Toph and Zuko. Together, they give us stronger insight into the themes of family. We observe two different kinds of parenting styles between the both of them. Zuko's father was relentless and used violence to control and instill respect, casting his child out because of it. Toph, on the other hand, was the exact opposite. She was viewed as fragile, somebody who could not take care of herself. Where Zuko's father was unforgiving and gave him up willingly, Toph's parents were overprotective, leading to the development of two character journeys that mirror each other. Toph's journey begins as someone who is very much trapped. Everything from the clothes she wore to where she went, how she could behave was controlled by her parents and those around her. When Aang, Katara, and Sokka first meet Toph, they meet a girl who feels disillusioned and reluctant to be who she really is. She has accepted the fact that she can't be anything more because of her parents.
My parents don't understand. They've always treated me like I was helpless.
Then why stay here where you're not happy?
They're my parents. Where else am I supposed to go?
Thus, her whole life's values have emerged to place even greater importance on independence and autonomy. She struggled with herself while relying on others and never wants to do that again once she runs off with Team Avatar.
Katara, I'm fine. I can carry my own weight. I don't need a fire. I've already collected my own food. And look, my tent's all set up.
Zuko's journey emerges from a different place, the exact opposite place, one of a young and carefree prince. Despite being told where to go and what to do all the time, he never felt restricted. It was only in his banishment that he felt trapped, imprisoning himself in the delusional notion of redeeming his honor. No matter where he would go or what he'd do, he would be burdened by the fact that his father and his nation would not accept him unless he captured the Avatar.
There is a simple honor in poverty.
There's no honor for me without the Avatar.
When we compare these two characters and how they evaluate themselves, we see Zuko place his value as external to himself. He requires others to determine how much he is worth, unlike Toph, who sees herself as extremely independent and self-sufficient.
I don't care what I look like. I'm not looking for anyone's approval. I know who I am.
We see here how their differing perspectives help to define not only who they are, but who each other are. Zuko struggles finding a personal identity, while Toph struggles with her collective identity.
But I can take care of myself by myself.
You sound like my nephew.
We get two perspectives that examine family and parenting differently. While one seeks a life of honor and approval, the other seeks a life of total independence away from her mother and father. And it's in how the show reconciles the two perspectives that gives the characters their meaning. Toph's story, although having little in the way of a full character arc, ultimately has to transform into one of reconciliation with her parents. She has to confront her guilt and sadness of running away from them.
You act like you hate them, but you don't. You just feel guilty.
I do hate them.
I don't think so.
While Zuko's story becomes one about the separation of his own personal values from his father's values.
And begin asking yourself the big questions. Who are you? And what do you want?
As they both reach major decision points on these journeys, Toph's decision to reconnect with her parents ultimately is what gives her closure.
I need you to write some things down for me. I want to send a letter to my parents.
While Zuko, who does the same thing, reconciling with his father and his sister, ultimately takes a step back, leading him to feel more conflicted and angry at himself.
Because I'm confused. Because I'm not sure I know the difference between right and wrong anymore.
Together, these two characters tell two halves of the same story, how to balance your own values with those around you, and having a balance of individual and collective group values is necessary.
I thought it was my honor that I wanted, but really, I was just trying to please you.
And I think it's important to highlight the two different perspectives on family and independence they both give to truly get a comprehensive understanding of the issues.
There is nothing wrong with letting people who love you help you.
Robert McKee, the writer of Story, says that supporting roles are inspired by the central character and designed to delineate his complex of dimensions. Secondary roles need not only the protagonist but also one another to bring out their dimensions. Ideally, in every scene, each character brings out qualities that mark the dimensions of the others. At their core, both Zuko and Toph are two human beings who reveal each other's strengths and weaknesses at a deeper level, and how issues around family are complicated, not just solved strictly by an all-or-none approach. Both Toph and Zuko become multi-dimensional characters because of each other. And there's another aspect of their identities that they both deal with in which they both have different views, and that is their views on disability. Among the main characters, they are the only two that deal with the effects of disability openly, Toph with her blindness, and Zuko, although not in the traditional sense of disability, his disfigurement. Disability has become naturally integrated with who these characters are, how they view the world, and how they view themselves.
Even though I was born blind, I've never had a problem seeing. I see with earthbending.
I used to think this scar marked me. The mark of the banished prince, cursed to chase the Avatar forever.
Zuko has always viewed his scar as a symbol for suffering, the mark of the banished prince. This is very different from how Toph has treated hers. Toph's disability is a source of her strength. She literally views the world in a more revealing way by listening to it, and would not have if she were not blind. Toph had never seen herself as anything less than those around her because of her disability. She feels whole and at one with herself. She's not concerned with how she appears literally and figuratively to people.
One of the good things about being blind is that I don't have to waste my time worrying about appearances.
And this is something Zuko is missing. Appearance and honor are valued highly to Zuko. He is burdened with embarrassment, how his father sees him and how his country sees him. But when he ultimately gets everything he wants, status, recognition, we realize that similar to Toph, Zuko's transformation of how he sees himself has to move beyond his scar.
I've realized I'm free to determine my own destiny, even if I'll never be free of my mark.
He chooses to see himself as a whole, complete person, as opposed to feeling like he is missing the approval of others. He develops a set of values that are what he wants. Both characters are representative of the idea that identity goes beyond a simple appearance. It comes from a set of beliefs and ultimately decisions. Toph and Zuko are two of my favorite characters in Avatar. Not only do they give each other depth, but both their bitter experiences provide some of the key enlightening moments for other characters. How Zuko helped Sokka try to redeem his own honor, how they both helped Katara to reconcile with losing her mother, and of course the different perspectives they bring in to help guide Aang with learning earth and firebending. And what's great is that when Zuko comes together with Team Avatar, Toph is the first one to give Zuko a chance, not counting Katara's encounter, of course. Each character in Avatar is complex, with their own unique perspectives and ways of looking at the world, at issues differently, and reconciling them in a single complete message. Zuko and Toph's perspectives complement each other. The whole series of Avatar: The Last Airbender is about embracing perspective and what it truly means to embrace the perspectives of others.
It is important to draw wisdom from many different places. If we take it from only one place, it becomes rigid and stale. Understanding others, the other elements, and the other nations will help you become whole.
It's also about working with and embracing different communities of people while also examining issues thoroughly from multiple angles. We see this in how the show makes us look through the lens of various groups and characters, how Team Avatar is made up of one person from each nation, including a non-bender and animals, and even how the Avatar himself is the one destined to bring balance, because he understands the perspectives of all the nations. Thanks for watching. Hey everyone. Thank you for watching this video. It seems like a rite of passage for any video essayist to do an Avatar: The Last Airbender essay. I'd always loved this series, and I think because of its such resonant themes, especially nowadays, this video was a no-brainer to make. Please leave me your thoughts on the series. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Cheers.